Physicists and engineers have been planning this part of the experiment for 15 years.
Whether it can destroy the world. That machine is the Large Hadron Collider, the world's biggest and most powerful particle accelerator, a multi-billion-dollar instrument.
In 2016, a series of photographs taken over Geneva barely 10 days after scientists reopened the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, caught strange clouds in the sky. People were quick to believe that the jaw-dropping photographs were proof that CERN was establishing a portal to another universe. Were the scientists working at CERN really trying to uncover the mysteries of the universe, or were they really just unlocking the gates to hell? Even in the present day, many individuals continue to maintain that CERN is covering up another secret or conspiracy. After being closed for 3 years due to renovations and maintenance, the Large Hadron Collider, LHC, reopened early this year. It would appear that beams have been circulating in the accelerator since April, and they are now stable enough to allow for testing to proceed at higher energy levels than they have ever been tested at before, with a runtime of more than 4 years. As a direct consequence of this, widespread fear is spreading over social media. Every year, strange discoveries are made, and even though the majority of these can be explained, some of these encounters leave the eyewitnesses with more questions than answers. And this is exactly what happened to one man who captured this close to the Large Hadron Collider. He was left with more questions than answers. What did this individual manage to photograph? And what are the researchers at CERN actually working on? Stay with us until the very end to learn everything there is to know about the strange story of this man. Numerous conspiracy theories surround the Hadron Collider itself. As a result of the machine's sensationalism, many theories have evolved regarding the real experiments being conducted within the collider. Many people concluded that something strange was going on beneath Switzerland after an earthquake in April 2016 coincided with the collider's quick closure. CERN is opening a multi-dimensional portal on July 5th and will be using dark matter, claimed one Twitter user. Some believe that the tests are leading to other dimensions, worlds, or just the past. While these stories are bizarre and possibly far-fetched, they do have some value, especially given that some studies conducted inside the collider may reveal the existence of other universes. So why not include a portal to them? People have speculated that scientists are utilizing the LHC to summon God, or its evil counterpart, Satan, and demons, whether through the portal or some other bizarre means. This one might be the oddest. The theory may be the most implausible, whether they are attempting to prove their existence or summoning them for some ulterior goal. But maybe that's the point. It's possible that the last thing we anticipate scientists to be looking for is actually what they're looking for. Andres, the man who shared his story, said he was on his way home when he noticed something in the sky that drew his attention. After slowing down to get a better look, he described the item as a giant doorway that lighted up the sky like it was pulsing. He claimed that the dazzling brightness was impossible to overlook and that he had never seen anything like it before. Mr. Andres stated as follows: "I was travelling through Geneva when I noticed an unusual object that lit up a significant area of the sky. There weren't many people about because it happened early in the morning, which was excellent because it allowed me to slow down and get a better look at this item. One of the first thoughts that came to mind was that this object could have been part of a rocket launch. However, nothing was launched in the region at the time I witnessed this. The sighting occurred on Tuesday, November 22nd. This object made no noises, did not move around the sky, held its place for several minutes, and was quite brilliant. Because I took this photograph through my windshield, you can see reflections on the sides of the objects and above. I attempted to take a clear snapshot of what I was seeing, but each time it produced these reflections. I'm not a techie, so I'm not sure if this was due to the windshield or the brightness of the object. They appear in every one of the dozen or so photographs I took. I'm more curious about what this was and if anyone else observed anything similar. It wasn't the moon or a planet, because I know the difference between planets, stars, and other celestial things like shooting stars. I should also mention that the sky is absolutely dark, but because of how dazzling this object was, it appears to be dusk. This was not the case. And the only reason it appears that way is because to how brilliant this thing is. I'm excited to read through some of the suggestions. It's interesting to note that several of the people who commented on the story indicated they'd witnessed something comparable, noting that the object they'd saw also resembled a massive portal and was rotating. In fact, reports came in early in the year 2021 from people living in Texas, claiming to have seen a gigantic object that resembled a portal. The fact that Mr. Andres took the photograph above Geneva, Switzerland, which is the location of the world-famous Large Hadron Collider, was one of the details that people focused on. As a result, some of the people who left comments speculated that the two may have been connected. It's important to keep in mind, though, that scientists working on the Large Hadron Collider have never publicly claimed to have made a gateway or anything similar to that. The following was reported on certain websites. The formation of black holes at the Large Hadron Collider is very unlikely. However, some theory suggests that the formation of tiny quantum black holes may be possible. In terms of our comprehension of the cosmos, the observation of such an event would be quite exciting. The discovery of a quantum black hole by the Large Hadron Collider would not only come as a complete shock, but it would also be extremely thrilling. It would make it possible for physicists to learn more about gravity, the most enigmatic force in nature. It would be a truly remarkable achievement in the field if the Large Hadron Collider were successful in producing a black hole. If this were to occur, it would provide evidence for ideas that propose the universe contains more than just 4 dimensions. Finding evidence of other dimensions would represent a significant step forward in our comprehension of the cosmos, much like the discovery of quantum physics or the theory of relativity did for our way of thinking. Many people begin to theorize about the potential applications of these extra dimensions, such as travel over space and time, the production of clean energy, and who knows what else. Let us set aside conspiracy theories and speculations and get to the bottom of what CERN is all about. If we're talking about a tunnel that humans could travel through, there's a major hindrance in the way. That barrier is the rigidity of space itself. The idea of a wormhole, a sort of tunnel in space and time that could allow you to go from one area of the universe to another without taking the most obvious route, or potentially to realms where there is no other way to get there, isn't entirely absurd. It is possible due to the mathematics of Einstein's theory of space, time, and gravity. However, the concept is fraught with both philosophical and practical difficulties. There's a fundamental challenge at the center of all of them. Bending and manipulating space is difficult. The energy required to bend space into a new shape can be enormous. For example, if we want to get to an understanding of what it takes to make a wormhole with an exit the size of a doorway, we can ask what it takes to make a black hole of that size. A doorway-sized black hole would have a mass comparable to Saturn, which is 100 times larger than our own planet. While CERN's electrical budget is huge, it will be depleted rapidly. There isn't much energy on Earth or even in Earth. Even if you magically changed the Earth's whole rest mass into the energy of 2 beams of particles and channeled the 2 beams into a small spot all at once, you couldn't even create a human-scale black hole. Is there another way? Sure. All we need to do is find a planet the size of Saturn and compress it down to the size of a dinner table. These black hole issues are horrifying enough, but at least we know that massive black holes are created by nature. There is no evidence that nature has ever generated a wormhole through which we may travel, and it is unknown how humans could in principle build one. Furthermore, if scientists succeeded in developing one, it would be incredibly difficult to regulate. Portals sit on the ground in science fiction, ready for you to step through them. A wormhole, on the other hand, has no intention of staying put on the Earth's rotating surface and has no qualms about destroying your laboratory and much more all around it. A human-sized portal to another world would pose a risk to the entire planet's present and future. Thus, it would have to be kept in deep space. But if big wormholes aren't possible, how about a virus-sized wormhole? Perhaps scientists can create those. Even in the most optimistic scenarios, CERN's ability to create a black hole the size of an atom, far too small for a virus, is far beyond its capabilities. a significant amount of energy would have to be condensed into an atom-sized region all at once. While CERN's proton beams have the energy of a freight train, that energy is dispersed over 17 miles of the Large Hadron Collider's round tubes. It cannot be squashed or squeezed into an atom-sized enclosure. What CERN can actually accomplish with its beams falls well short of what is required. You can be careless with space in science fiction, but in reality, space will not bend to your will. So what do you think about this? Tell us in the comments section below.